Hello everyone, good afternoon, and welcome to Niger Delta Today, your one-stop when we talk about the issues affecting the Niger Delta region. My name is Xavier Robert. Today on the program, the National Bureau of Statistics over the last year said food prices across Nigeria soared, with staples like gari, rice and beans seeing hikes of over 40%. Well, governments like that of Akwa Ibom State have been thinking about how to handle this. They arrived at a free food program to help in tackling the rising inflation and economic hardship. Today we want to know what this really means for families, for farmers, and for the wider economy. Is the solution handing out food, or is it misplaced priorities, as critics of the program tag it to be? And politically speaking, Edo was part of the Niger Delta state that conducted the 2025 by-election over the weekend. As expected, it has generated not just results, but plenty of debate. Beyond the winners and losers, what does this contest tell us about voter behavior, party structures, and the political mood of the people ahead of 2027? Today, we take a close look at the Edo by-election and what the outcome really means. I'll not be doing this alone. My co-host, Jennifer Pius, is next to me. Jennifer.
Yes, good afternoon, Xavier, and looking terrific as usual.
You too, I must say.
Thank you, thank you. Well, there are so many issues to capture, and yesterday there was a lot to talk about as a lot happened in the Niger Delta region. We'll capture the story of interest where wife of the Senate President, Dr. Mrs. Ikaito Norma Kwabio, called on citizens of Akwa Ibom State to desist from acts of blackmail against the government in order to allow development to reach the vulnerable. Well, she made the call on Monday while addressing youth during a sensitization program on the need for eligible voters to participate in the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise. Dr. Kwabio noted that the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, are working in partnership with President Bola Tinubu to deliver life-changing development to the state. She further advised citizens to support the progressive government so as to benefit from its various empowerment initiatives. Let's take a listen.
We don't listen to blackmail because we don't have that time. We don't have time. We have a lot of things to do. And in this part of the country, we have only 5 months of dry season. Is that the time to come and listen to somebody? Then what has the president done for us? He has made it so easy that when you don't have up to certain amount of money, you cannot pay tax. That's what the tax reform is all about. In this state alone, he has given us several appointments. In this state alone, he has given us a federal university.
Well, I won't term this just an Akwa Ibom thing. I would like to put it forward as a Niger Delta issue. The issue of blackmail should be done with. We should be looking at aspects of facts. We should be looking at how this is in relation to the people and how this can benefit the people. There had been rumors around the corners about different activities by the state government, by the Senate President, and even in other Niger Delta states. And so the wife of the Senate President came forward to experience development. One has to accept that with open arms, and you need to do away with whatever side talks you might hear around the corners. I think that's where we can begin when we talk
Indeed,
about
Jennifer. When a public figure says, let's stop blackmail so development can thrive and reach the most vulnerable, it strikes a thought and raises a question. And of course, we all agree that blackmail is not acceptable, it has no place in the kind of government we run, and that's full stop. But then we know that we're running a democracy, and definitely people have the freedom to air their minds and all of that. But then where there was always a line to draw, we know that
so long as it obstructs development, I think we should
it has to be nipped in the bud, and that is, I believe, the area the Senate President's wife is coming from. And indeed, it is all-encompassing. If we must experience the true development, we have to encourage government as much as possible. Well, while also, criticizing them constructively when we understand that there are areas that are erring and they need to correct it. So I think the message is well passed, and it is indeed necessary that citizens also toe this line and give the government the necessary support, while also criticizing constructively to ensure that the goal of achieving the kind of society we want is achieved as much as possible.
Indeed.
Let's bring you Niger Delta updates for today. First, the Niger Delta updates today. Citizens of Ikono and any local government areas in Akwa Ibom State have reaffirmed their support for President Bola Tinubu and Senate President Godswill Akpabio ahead of the 2027 general elections. This declaration was made yesterday by leaders and stakeholders of INI and Ikono during a project inspection tour by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, represented by his wife, Dr. Mrs. Ekaite Unoma Godswill Akpabio. David Isong tells us more on that.
Ahead of the 2027 polls, citizens are being sensitized on the importance of participating in the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise.
Encourage them to go and vote.
In line with this, wife of the Senate President, Dr. Mrs. Unoma Akpabio, led stakeholders of Ikot-Igbeni Senatorial District on a tour of INI and Ikono local government areas. At INI, the delegation paid homage to the paramount ruler, His Royal Majesty Otuekong Edon, as part of engagement with traditional rulers.
So your presence today, before new officers is elected to the office, let INI inherit some of the right of the government.
The last time I saw you was when we came to solicit for your vote. And I know that within the last 2 years, we have not disappointed any people. It is not yet Uhuru, but I know that we're going to get there very soon.
The tour continued to the ultra-modern town hall at Naininekbe village, where leaders at different levels reaffirmed their loyalty to President Tinubu, Senate President Akpabio, and Governor Moino.
Mommy, we also want to say that the project brought to the local government, look at how this project has spread across the nooks and crannies of Benin. We are so appreciative. Haven't seen what the president has done in Nigeria, haven't seen what the Senate President has also done in Nigeria, and we have also seen what the governor, our performing governor, has done in Akwa Ibom State, and by extension in Nigeria. I therefore move in motion for the adoption His Excellency Dr. Godswill Akpabio, the President of the Senate, as the sole candidate come 2027.
I rise to second the motion as ably moved by the Speaking House member of Guinea State constituency.
The barrage also visited the palace of the paramount ruler of Ikono, His Royal Majesty Nnanna Itang, where Dr. Mrs. Akpabio assured that more development projects would be extended to the area.
President, after we got over them, the man, the president of government, after we got over them.
One of the reasons why we must sensitize our people to go and register is for us to have more votes. One, for the president of the country. Secondly, we need these votes to return our own father to where he is. We have seen the benefits of being the president of the Senate.
The day's activities concluded with the inspection of several projects, including ultra-modern markets, ICT centers, police stations, town halls, roads, and other infrastructural developments.
Also on Niger Delta update, Edo State Governor Senator Monday Paulo has declared his displeasure over the slow pace of work on the Benin-Sapele Road project, despite funds already released to contractors. The governor, who personally drove through the over 20-kilometer stretch, stopped at several points to inspect drains, pavement, and materials used for the construction. He raised concerns about the drainage design, questioning its ability to properly channel flood water, while summoning the contractors in his bid to ensure quick completion of the project.
So good. I've seen what they are doing, solid work, good work. But the problem I have with the level of speed. You see, people are crying on this road, and we just have to do something so that we can relieve them from it. Now he's talking about the second segment of the road, which is another 7 kilometers. But just apart from the construction of the road, the drainage is also very much important, because they stop somewhere. The design, I don't know what kind of design is that somebody have to stop at the middle of town. Where is the water going to?
And also 7 kilometers out of town. Right now we're finished almost 1.7 kilometers pavement in town section. And also the stone base, we finished another 3 kilometers in town, so excluding the pavement. And also we're planning to do this another 7 kilometers starting from the bridge till behind. And we have started, so it means we have two groups of people working simultaneously. So I think we could achieve something before the next rainy season.
Meanwhile, Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okwebo has stated that the outcome of Saturday's by-elections further revalidates his victory in the September 2024 governorship election. The governor stated this while receiving the member-elect for Ovia Federal Constituency, Honorable Gabriela Mosede Ibenadian, who visited the government house alongside the Deputy Governor, Dennis Idahosa.
We are serious about it. We will not sleep. We continue to work hard to achieve our goal. I want to thank you once more again, Omosede Ibenadian, for the sound victory.
Supportive mechanism of Edo people, and Ovia people has asked me to thank you on their behalf for what you have done, for giving us all the necessary support for this election. Your Excellency, I present to you Gabriela Omosede Ibenadian, the House of Rep-elect of Ovia Federal Constituency. Thank you.
The people of Ovia Federal Constituency should expect me to hit the ground running. The National Assembly is somewhere I'm very familiar with, and indeed I have already a few motions and bills that I will be putting forth, and a list of projects as I journey through my constituency that I would wish to undertake for the people of Ovia Federal Constituency. So indeed, like I said, I'm not new to the National Assembly. I know my way, and that will be the advantage that I will be bringing to the table.
All over to Delta, the state governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Wari has flagged up a Widows Welfare Scheme, a landmark initiative designed to provide financial and healthcare support for 10,000 widows across the state. The ceremony held at the event center in Asaba marked a significant step in the governor's MORE agenda to uplift vulnerable groups and promote inclusive governance.
To this flag-off ceremony of the Widows Welfare Scheme, this is a very important occasion for me because of the opportunity to touch lives. Breadwinner, widows face challenges ranging from neglect to the everyday struggle for survival. It is very difficult and lonely road to walk, and I cherish every opportunity to contribute towards improving their living conditions. Today, we are flagging off this administration's Widows Welfare Scheme in consonance with the second pillar of the MORE agenda, which is opportunities for all.
Some of the beneficiaries thanked the governor for the gesture and prayed for the sustainability of the project.
So excited. I'm so excited. I never expect this. I never expect it. My gratitude goes to our Excellency. Our Excellency, our Governor, Sheriff. May God continue to protect and guide him.
Sheriff, our best governor for we. We never see the governor. Sheriff tell Delta State doctor to London. Okay. Sheriff work many work we never see for Delta State. Now they work. Even when they come for this road today, so we are dey pray for Sheriff. Our stadium where is scatter seas where they not be pray for many years. Sheriff they do am. Sheriff will come today. Sheriff carry come up for supper. I remember when my husband died.
Thank you for staying tuned. Let's talk phase 3 of the Akwa Ibom Free Food Program. A clear indication that the state government sees value in extending it. While many beneficiaries welcome the relief, critics are asking whether food handouts alone can address deeper issues of hunger, food production and agricultural security. Is this a bridge to lasting solutions or just a stopgap measure in tough times? We have joining us live Director Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network, CRAN, Otuekong Franklyn Isong. You're welcome on the program, Otuekong. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning and good afternoon. It's a terrific Tuesday, right?
It is.
Yeah. Welcome to all of us.
Been a while. I've not been here.
Well,
you're looking so glamorous and like from here you're going for a dinner party or something.
I should. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. You guys are doing very well.
Thank you. Well, we're looking at the phase 3 of the food distribution program by the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Moino, and we've seen that in the previous phases, it was faced with some level of criticism and some commendations. And this recent one, which is tagged the phase 3 of the distribution program, I'd like to first get your overview of the food program. You think this is a time we should be accepting a food program, or this has gone in somewhat way been helpful to the people?
Well, there has never been a best time than now, being that Nigerians are facing hard time. We are having a lot of insecurity issues that have affected farmers. Even when they plant their crops, you have the bandits don't allow them to go back to the farm to harvest. Even when they are able to go to harvest, you will see that the cattle herdsmen would have entered and used their cattle to destroy the farm crops. And so, coupled with the fact that we have steady rainfalls that have, washed away some part of the lands, and we are having issues of flooding. So I think the government of Akwa Ibom State has thought it wise, being that the state has been marked by, I think, NEMET to be among the states that are going to be experiencing heavy flooding. And of course, we've had that in some of the rural communities. And most of these rural communities their main stay is farming and agriculture. And so the only way the government can actually contribute to uplifting humanity and to uplift the well-being of the citizens of the state is to also support by, giving food items. And that is why when the governor came on board, he established what is called the bulk purchase agency. And the agency is, is charged with the duty of distributing food items, and the names of the beneficiaries are gotten from, I think, from the social register, SOKU, that has been drawn long before the government came on board. And so the agency has been doing that. Before now, when the president, Bola Tinubu, came on board, he removed the fuel subsidy, and we had issues of crisis in the country. Part of what the president also, promised was palliative. And then at the state level, we had the State Palliative Committee, which the state governor, Pastor Moino, constituted, and I happen to be in the committee to represent the civil society groups in Akwa Ibom State. And the committee has been working to ensure that we make food items available to the people of the state. So for me, the phase 3 of the food distribution is apt because of these issues I've just listed.
Okay, but then what exactly does the food distribution program entail?
It's just about taking raw items like rice and beans and possibly gari to the rural areas and distribute it to a local government in this case. Because when the State Palliative Committee, which I happen to be a member, handled the distribution, we normally distribute it at village level. I recall the governor had said we wanted to distribute less than some number. The governor insisted that we should make it more than what we wanted to do, and it should be per village. But for this time around, from the itinerary that I have received, it shows that it will be distributed based on local government basis. So you have and it will be handled by the Ministry of the Humanitarian Affairs, a new ministry created by the governor, chaired by Honorable Mrs. Ibaha. So they are going to take these items, rice. I think from the figures I got, they will be using 3,000 bags of gari and rice, and they will go to each local government, commencing from Oron, Ore from Oroko, to Orogonam, and the rest. I will give you an itinerary of how it's going to be. So for me, the distribution of food items is such that it will also help to add to, and is targeted at the poorest of the poor. It's not for people who can afford. Like I have said before, the list of beneficiaries were already drawn from the SOKU, social register, that was done by World Bank. So it's not that the state government draw a list and begin to distribute to those places. No. So the poorest of the poor, there are lists already drawn for that purpose, and that is the list that will be used for this distribution. But it's going to be given by a local government basis.
What was the reason of this change? Earlier you had said that before now the distribution basis was to villages, and now it's local government and the humanitarian ministry is supposed to take charge of that. What led to the changes? Is it that discrepancies were noticed in the sharing, or there are issues that were spotted?
No, what happened was that when the State Palliative Committee was in charge of the distribution, that was immediately we had the protest by Nigerians that erupted after the president withdrew the first subsidy. So there was no ministry to handle that, to handle the distribution. So we handled it, and the governor was particularly involved in the process. The kick-off was even in the governor's village. You call it the flag off of the distribution by the State Palliative Committee. And so the governor insisted, and we had, the federal government also gave some support, some bags of rice to the state. It wasn't only the state government that was, funding it. The federal government also assisted. Now, the committee decided that it should be per village. And then the governor said, yes, but governor now had to increase the figure that was distributed per village. But now we now have a ministry responsible for it. So they have now sat down and said they now want to handle it, because going around the villages will take almost like 3 months. So what the agency will do is know how many village we have, and then bundle their own figure, which is 3,000, and give it to the local government chairman, who will now invite the various village heads to come over and sign and get their own share for their villages. So it's still the same thing, because it's going to be given per village, but it's going to be given in bulk to the local government to help distribute to these villages.
Otuekong, we know that palliatives, it's a measure that is supposed to be temporary to cushion the effects of hunger and the bite of the economy on a temporary basis. But then the question is, and some critics are indeed asking, how long and how sustainable are these palliative measures that have been instituted and put in place by the governor, Pastor Omoino? We're talking about phase 3 now, meaning there was phase 1 and phase 2. Is it a continuous practice, a process that will continue, or are we going to have an end to it? And is it sustainable?
Well, in as much as we have a government in place, and the duty of every government, based on our constitution, section 14 of our constitution, is very clear that the government is to provide welfare and security. What you are saying now is a welfarist, approach. The government is also, which is also security. But where there is no welfare, where the people are hungry, it will raise social, issues, and that will raise insecurity in the state. So there is no limit, there is no extent to giving palliative, which of course you have rightly mentioned is temporary measures. And why the government is doing this is also planning on the permanent measure, which is why the government is building, encouraging farmers and also building, farmland and industry that's also going to cater for, the people's welfare, including employment of the youth, creating employment. Over, I think, 3,000 youth, 3,000 persons will be employed into civil service. These are all permanent measures that will also help to ameliorate the suffering. So, yes, there is not going to be an end to food distribution because it is part of the social duty of a government. Government shouldn't just be building skyscrapers and the people are going, with empty stomach. You will raise insecurity in the state. So the government is supposed to handle the issue of welfare, handle the issue of security, and then put in place social infrastructures that will also cater for the needs of the people in the other areas. So for me, there is no end, there is no time, there is no limit to government providing palliative to the citizens.
Well, as you've rightly mentioned, that the employment cadre is for the unemployed youth and different segments, and you mentioned that the food program is strictly for the poorest of the poor. There's always been that back and forth on the definition for the poorest of the poor. Can we have a clear understanding of who the poorest of the poor is in this regard?
Well, in my own understanding of the word poorest of the poor, before we used to hear 101.
Okay.
101. You know what I mean? Someone who can eat maybe breakfast and cannot afford the lunch and can afford the dinner.
Which is the 001.
001. And then you have the the 110.
Zero.
One who can eat the breakfast, can eat lunch, and cannot afford the dinner. And you have the 001. One who cannot eat the breakfast and can't eat the lunch and can afford dinner. And you now have the 000. One who is completely unable to eat his breakfast, to afford for his lunch, to afford for his dinner. So that such a person look up to some other person to assist. In my own understanding now, the 100 or the 001 or the 000 falls in the same cadre of the poorest of the poor. Because the one who is able to eat once a day and not able to eat these other ones will become malnourished. Right? Will definitely take ill and become malnourished. But the one who is able to eat at least 2 square meals can be able, can make it, can be able to, regain himself, and is above the poorest of the poor. There are those who only sip gari for a day, just sip gari. There are those who don't sip, who don't even have the gari to sip, and they go on the street begging. And there are those who cannot even walk, who are ill by virtue of sickness, and they are just the aged ones who don't have anyone to care for them. Those ones are also the poorest of the poor. So there is no how you can define it. Those ones who are unable to take care of themselves have become the poorest of the poor.
Well, Otuekong, what would you now say about people who still find a way to put their names in that list that is in existence, and yet they don't fall under this category that you have mentioned? Is the government doing anything towards ensuring that it actually confirms if the persons it is handing these reliefs to are actually under this category, because it could still not meet or reach the persons that they are intended for?
That is why the CSOs like us and others are involved in the process of this distribution to ensure that the targeted audience actually get to receive these items. When we are not there to police it, to watch the process, to ensure that accountability is maintained, then you could have what you're saying.
So far, have you witnessed any skirmishes?
Just about commencing tomorrow. It's commencing tomorrow.
The past phases, if you were to borrow
so far, there has not been complaints. So far, like I told you, the one we've had, the one I was part of the committee handling it, there was no complaint, because we ensure that every village head will come to receive his item, sign it with the youth leader and woman leader. And so when you have diversion, when they call they call us to complain, we have to resort back to the register to check who signed for that particular community, and the person can easily be traced. So when you handle it that way and you involve independent NGOs like us who don't have who are not doing the government human's job, you could see that the real audience will get to receive the items, and there will be no complaint. Because when the complaint arises, we're the ones that will take it up with the relevant agency to actually check if it was actually the complaint that has been given actually meant to be called complaint, or just like or maybe it is a frame up or a blackmail. Because definitely you have people who are going to come up and say, hey, it didn't get to reach us. Hey, it didn't get, because people expect that it should be enough, more than enough. But government is not a Father Christmas, in my own opinion. Government can only do what government can do. I'm not here to hold brief for the government. They can do what they can only do. But creating an enabling environment will always be the best way out. Making sure that the people have the farmers are able to enter their farmland and farm. You have the anti-open grazing law enforced, that when you see any cattle entering the farmlands, the cattle are impounded, the headers are apprehended, fines are being paid, and then you tackle the issue of flood. The governor has the, I think, SSA on climate change. You should also be able to, relate with the governor to know where we have issues of flooding and then tackle it. You have erosion in the community, the government will go in and handle it. And then you handle the issue of insecurity and give us good road network. Farmers who are farming in the interior areas can bring their food to the town and sell and make gains and go back. And you will see that you will have more than enough. But where you are, where the government is not doing all of this or any of this and believe in giving palliative, then the government will, make the whole people of the state to look up to government. And whatever government gives can never be enough to go round. Okay,
Otuekong, we also like to understand if there has been measures put in place to ensure accountability, because this has to do with the people at the grassroots level. And so many times there are complaints of that nature, that these items are siphoned or people withhold these items from getting to the persons it should get. Are there measures you think has been put in place to ensure accountability? Well,
the CSOs, CRAN and other CSOs are engaging the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs because it's a new ministry. We are talking with the Commissioner to ensure that we are brought into the picture so that we can also be able to assist to ensure that we don't have issues of diversion and issues of compromise and issues of political patronage where the items are given to people who are basically political party members as against what you have in the social register, and where the items are not being used as as a largesse from a party as against the other persons who are not in the other party, and where the items are not also being used as a campaign tool in favor of anyone. So the items shouldn't be used in any of those areas. That is why we are engaging with the ministry, and the commissioner is open to engage with us because we will be able to assist her to succeed. That office, the office of the humanitarian affairs, is very large. You recall what happened to someone who was the minister of that particular office in Abuja. It's not what happened to her. So you need to open up and allow for people who are interested, who are people-oriented, who are the civil society to engage you as an agency to get it right. Otherwise, you will be dragged and complaints will come and possibly you could be distracted.
All right. Otuekong Franklyn Isong, Director, Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network. We'll be counting on organizations like yours as we also do our bid towards ensuring that this process is executed seamlessly. Thank you for speaking with us in Niger Delta today.
My pleasure always.
We appreciate your time.